Hi, I'm Dave Cote, and today I want to talk about change. In the past 6 months, there's been a lot of change in my life. And I'm not talking about COVID-19 or any of those things. I'm talking about change in terms of my photography gear. Right here I've got what has been my trusty Lone Pro bag. This is a Pro Trekker 400 AW, all weather. And this thing has gone through thick and thin with me. It's been down into the Grand Canyon, it's been to Bryce, it's been to Death Valley, it's been to Portland, Maine. It's been pretty much everywhere. The Blue Ridge Parkway. I've had this bag for probably about 10 years. It's a great bag, and it has served me well. But, you know, it's a huge bag, and I'm a definite believer in the thought that nature abhors a vacuum. And I think that that's very, very true in the particular case of a large bag. See, this bag here has a large, and I mean large, place to store camera gear. In fact, I took out some of the dividers here to use in other bags. But anyways, nature abhors a vacuum, and so if you've got a whole bag whose body is solely dedicated to just carrying camera equipment, well, you end up buying enough camera equipment to eventually fill this thing. And I had a body in here, sometimes 2 bodies, and upwards to 8 lenses, and somehow I managed to cram it all in here. Now, this bag is a heavy bag to begin with. This bag is just about 8 pounds empty. That's before you even start putting any kind of camera equipment in this thing. And it's already 8 pounds heavy. And I found that as I've gotten older in life that my desire to carry heavy bags has gotten less and less, especially when I'm hiking out in the desert, where lightness and nimbleness of foot is really critical, and it's hard to be nimble when you've already got something that's 8 pounds on your back, and then you've got it full of camera equipment, and you end up with I bet you that this thing was close to 40 to 45 pounds when it was totally filled up with everything, with my filters. And I used to have the huge blocky filters, the big 150 by 100 millimeter glass filters that you put into the filter holders, and I did all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I had 8 different lenses in here, and it was just, this thing was just a beast, along with a tripod, and I mean, it just got ridiculous. And I decided about a year ago that I had to figure out a way to reduce my weight so that my trips out into the deserts and out hiking up mountains and all that would be a much more comfortable hike. And so I finally broke down and I got this bag. This is an f-stop cashmere bag, and this thing is just barely over 3 pounds empty. I mean, already I'm starting off with like a 5 pound difference in back weight, and that 5 pounds makes a whole lot of difference. Now this thing is set up so that you got some side pouches here, and usually what I keep here is tripod stuff. I do a lot of videos as I'm doing here, and so I got a small tripod video that I'll stash in there. Over here, and part of this may be just because of where I grew up at, but you always have a water filtering system, a water filtration system. Even in the desert, you may still come across springs. And one of the big things that attracted me to the huge bag was its ability to store a hydration bladder. And it's the same with this bag. This bag here in the front here, in this section behind this pocket, there's a place to put a hydration bladder. And I happen to have my Camelback there. You can see my Camelback right here, because hydration is probably the #1 most critical thing when you're out in the desert hiking around. You need to have ready access to water. And so I look for bags that have the ability for water, which I really like some of the like Shimoda bags and all that, but they don't readily have a way for you to put in a hydration bladder, whereas the F-Stop did. And I was looking for a smaller bag, and this bag it's a much smaller bag and a much lighter bag than this guy. Height-wise, they're about the same, but in terms of girth and width, the F-Stop bag is significantly smaller. Now, the F-Stop is set up, it's a little different too, in that the whole internal bag is not just merely for camera storage. You buy inserts that you put in based on how much camera equipment that you want. And I have a medium insert. They have a small, medium, and a large, and a bunch of different thickness options. And I got a medium mirrorless insert, which works just fine. It's kind of nice in that it prevents you from packing your bag full of stuff that you really don't need to carry. I like the fact that it's got a front pocket here, so I can put in gloves, hat, a windbreaker, whatever else I might want when I'm out on a day hike. Then again, this pack is really for day hiking. I would not take this on overnight. I have a different bag that I use for overnight camping that allows me to carry my camera equipment as well as hiking stuff. You know, a small pop-up tent and small little sleeping bag and all that kind of stuff. But for a day hike, where I'm only going to go maybe 6 miles out and then 6 miles back, which you can easily do in a day, this bag here is perfect for it. It's got straps here so I can tie in my tripod. And again, I use this particular pocket right here for my trekking poles. And what I like about the bag, this bag, is that unlike my Low & Pro bag, because it opened on the top, you had to lay this on the ground. And you may think that the desert is just all sand, but it's not. You've got a whole bunch of different cacti kind of things, thorns and pricklies and all that kind of stuff. And so I was constantly having to clean the back of my bag after I put my camera gear back on, and before I could put my bag on my back, I'd have to spend a good 10 minutes or so cleaning the back of the bag off so that I could put it on my back, because otherwise it was just a painful experience. What I like about this bag is that you lay the front down and you open it from the back. So the back here isn't resting, along with the straps here, are not necessarily resting on all that debris that you have from all the various cacti. Cholla is specifically the cactus that I'm thinking about, which is the worst, that you don't have to worry about. And I like this little setup here. I've got a little flashlight here so that I can turn my flashlight on if it's near dusk. I've got my little hex pin here, or my hex key here for my tripod. And of course lip balm, because you always need lip balm if you're out in the desert. And then here's the medium. Here's the medium insert. And in this medium insert, I'm able to keep my camera. I'm able to keep my wide angle lens, cleaning cloth, screw on filters, a strap if I decide that I want to carry my camera around my neck or shoulders, my telephoto. Again, I'll talk about this stuff in a little bit. These are filters for my wide angle. And I have my shutter release, as well as a lens brush. And that's what I keep here in this medium size insert. The top of the bag, and this is what I like about this bag, is the top of the bag has two sets of things. This first one is easy access to the top of the bag. And in here I have things such as, believe it or not, toilet paper and compass and headlamp and eye drops for my contacts, and of course blister medic. If you're hiking and you get your shoes damp or wet or whatever and you develop blisters, you have the ability to take care of these things. So these things are things that I find essential when you're out hiking in the middle of the desert. And so that's at the topmost bag, and then you've got this other one that's right here that basically opens up the hoe top and into the bag. And in here, this is all my video equipment, all my cameras and batteries and things that I need for video. My batteries, spare batteries for my camera, and of course I've got a little vault here for cards, card vault. That's waterproof. Of course I'm in a desert, so I'm not really sure why I want waterproof, but it's waterproof just in case. And they of course just sit right on top of that insert right there. And then of course right there, I don't know if you can see it in this, but right here's my camelback bladder that hooks on right there. So the bladder is in a separate pocket. It's in a separate pocket right there. I don't know if you can even see that, but it's got a separate pocket for it. And then it's just threaded out there. So this is my bag. And this bag is great because if I don't want my video stuff, if I decide I'm not going to do any video, then I can just take this bag out, leave it in the back of my car, and now my bag is really, really light, which is what I like. And the fact that I can bring my hydration bladder, yeah, hydration bladder is critical, especially in desert environments. So that's the first change I made, was upgrading my bag to a bag that's lighter, smaller, and much easier to deal with.